Hello, 8th graders. We are working on grade 8, Module 4, Problem Set 9. For time reasons, we will not be doing number 1. You do not have to do problem number 1 because that'll just make our homework way too long. So let's go on to problem number 2. For these, we need to write an equation and then solve to find the answer. So we have to both write the equation and solve for the answer. Number 2, Lisa has a certain amount of money. We don't know that amount, so we're going to call that X. She spends $39 and has 3/4 of the original left. She spends 39, has 3/4 of the original left. So they want to know how much that original was. How much is X? She starts with X. She spends $39. If you spend money, are you going to add it or subtract it from your amount? When you spend it, you're going to subtract it because you're not going to have it anymore. And she has then, so we're equals, 3/4 of the original amount. So she's going to end up with 3/4 of X. How do we write 3/4 of X? 3/4 X. And there we have our equation. Now, to solve this equation, the first thing we have to do, because there's variables on both sides, is we have to get rid of the variable with the smallest coefficient. This X has a coefficient of 3/4. What is the coefficient of this X? Don't forget it's invisible. It's that 1. So which is smaller, 1 or 3/4? 3/4 is smaller. 3/4 is a number smaller than 1. So we're going to have to subtract 3/4 X from both sides. Over here, 3/4 X subtract 3/4 X is going to be 0. Anything minus itself is 0. Over here, 1 minus 3/4. 1 minus 3/4. Well, I can rewrite 1 as 4/4, right? Isn't 4/4 the same as 1? Subtract 3/4, because I have to have that common denominator, and I'd get 1/4 left over. So 1x minus 3/4 X is going to be 1/4 X, and I have to bring down my minus 39. My next step would then be to get rid of the subtracting 39. To get rid of subtracting 39, I'm going to have to add 39 to both sides. And we are going to have 1/4 X equals 39. Now we have to get rid of multiplying. To get rid of multiplying, we have to divide. In order to divide by a fraction, we actually multiply by its reciprocal. Remember, dividing a fraction is the same as multiplying by a reciprocal. This is going to be 4/4, which is the same as 1. 1x, or we'll just write x, the 1 will be invisible. We've got to make this 39 to be 39/1. 39 times 4 is 156. If you need to pause to figure that out, you can. And 1 times 1 is 1. So X is going to be 156. 156 what? $156. So is her original amount. Okay. Let's go on to problem number 3. Problem number 3 is very complex. Lots of steps to it. So they tell us that the length of a rectangle is 4 more than 3 times the width. Okay. Then they tell us the perimeter of the rectangle is 18.4 centimeters. And then we know, what they're asking was, what is the area? Oh boy. To get area, remember, area is a length times the width. Okay? So we need to figure out our length times the width. They talk about this here. In fact, they tell us the length is 4 more than 3 times the width. Okay, that's fine and dandy, but what do I know about that? Well, let's draw this out. So if I have a rectangle, right? And the length is 4 more than 3 times the width. Do I know the width? No. So we're going to use W actually for width. If this is the width, then the length is 4 more than. Remember, more than is a turnaround phrase, so everything's going to be flipped around. 3 times the width. How do I write 3 times the width? 3 times the width W, or 3 times W? 3W, right? And then 4 more than that. So this would be 4 more than 3 times the width. This is the width. How long is this one? This is also going to be 4 more than 3 times the width because it's a rectangle. Okay, that's all fine and dandy, Mrs. Segovich, but how am I going to get the area with length times width if this is all I know? I still don't know W. Well, we do have this number, right? The perimeter is 18.4 centimeters. How do I get perimeter? Remember, perimeter is when we add up the sides. It's like if we run around the whole thing, we get our perimeter, right? So perimeter would be W plus 3W plus 4, then plus W, then plus 3W plus 4. W, 3W plus 4. That's going to be 18.4 centimeters. Okay, so let's combine our like terms. Let's look at all our W's. 1, that's 4, 5, and 3 more is 8. So we have 8 W's. Plus we have a 4 here and a 4 here, plus 8. And that's going to be 18.4. Okay. Okay, so we need to continue to solve this. So we got to subtract 8 from both sides, right? And we're going to get 8W equals 10.4. Now what are we going to do? That's right, we're going to divide by 8. And we're going to have W equals, I'm going to come over here, I'll do it over here, 10.4 divided by 8. 8 goes into 10 once, that's going to be 8. Subtract, I get 2. Bring down the 4. And 8 goes into 24 3 times. And remember, I got to kick up that decimal, so it's going to be, W is going to be 1.3. Oh, great. So now I know my width is, because my W, the width is 1.3. So to get area, I'm going to know I have to go length times my width, which is 1.3. Oh, that's a tongue twister. Still got to figure out my length. So to get my length, remember my length is 3W. Length is 3W plus 4. And for W, we're going to use the 1.3. So we're going to have 3 times 1.3 plus 4. So my length is going to be 3.9 plus 4. So my length is going to be 7.9. So now I know my area will be a length, which is 7.9 times 1.3. Okay, so this is how we're going to find it. So let me come over here where we have a little more space. So area. 7.9 times 1.3. 9 times 3 is 27. Carry the 2. 23. Bring down a 0. I have 9 and 7. Add these up. I have 2 decimal places in the problem, so I need 2 decimal places in the answer. So our area is 10.27 centimeters squared. Okay, remember we have to have, centimeters squared. Okay, because area is always square units. Ah, that was the most complicated one, I think. Number 4. We have 8 times the result of subtracting 3 from a number. Interesting wording. 8 times the results of subtracting 3 from a number. So we got to 8 times these results. So 8 times, and we're going to have those results in here. Okay. Subtracting 3 from a number. Subtracting 3 from a number. Are we starting with 3 or are we starting with that number? We're actually starting with the number and subtracting 3 from it, right? And that number we're going to call x. So x minus 3. 8 times the results of subtracting 3 from a number. And these are the results. Subtracting 3 from a number, and we're taking those results and multiplying it by 8. Is equal to, so we're going to put equal. That number increased by 25. So how do we take that number and increase it by 25? We go plus 25. So there's our equation. Now let's solve it. A distributive property, right? 8x minus 24 equals x plus 25. Variables both sides, so let's get rid of the variable with the smallest coefficient, which would be this, which is 1x. So we subtract x from both sides. And we're going to have 7x minus 24 equals 25. Now we get rid of our addition or subtraction, so we got to get rid of subtracting 24 by adding 24. And we get 7x equals 49. Now we have to divide both sides by 7. And x is going to be 49 divided by 7, or 7. Way to go. Let's go to number 5. 3 consecutive odd integers have a sum of 3. What are those numbers? Okay, we've done consecutive problems like this before, but these are odd integers. So we're counting every other number. Okay, remember every other number because every other number is odd. So if our first number is x, right? Our second odd, the next odd number is not going to be the very next number, but 2 numbers away. So the next odd number is going to be 2 away from x. And then the odd integer after that is going to be 4 away from this. Because we're counting every other number. And that's going to give us the sum of 3. Remember, sum is adding. There is our equation. So let's solve it. Combine our like terms. So we have 3x's. And we have 6 equals 3. So let's first subtract 6 from both sides. And I get 3x equals, if I start at 3 on the number line and I go down 6, I'm going to be going down below 0 to negative 3. And now I have to take, divide, to get rid of our multiplication, I divide by 3 on both sides. And x is going to be negative 1. But they want to know what are the numbers. They want to know all 3 numbers. So if x is negative 1, our first number is negative 1. Our next odd integer is going to be negative 1 plus 2, which would be positive 1. And the next one would be 2 more, which would be 3. And to check it, if I had negative 1 plus 1 plus 3, negative 1 plus 1 is 0, plus 3 is 3, and that is true. So these are the numbers. Let's go on to problem number 6. 2 problems to do here. They'll do the same style problem, same equation. Basically, we just have to do it for 2 different months. So each month, Liz pays $35 for a phone company, plus an additional 5 cents per text. So basically, it's $35 plus 0.05 per text. That's the equation. That would give you your cost, right? So in March, let's do March here. In March, her phone bill was $72.60. April, her phone bill was $65.85. So they want to know how much did she send, how many texts did she send each month. So March, we have the $35 plus the 0.05 per text. And for March, it was $72.60. So let's solve this. Start by subtracting 35. We get 0.05t equals 48.60. Is that right? I don't think so. 37.60. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so we got to take 37.60 and divide it by 0.5. I'm sorry, 0.05. Got to move this over twice, so we move this over twice. Bring the decimal up here. 5 goes into 37 7 times, which is 35. Subtract, we get 26. 5 goes into 26 5 times, which is 25. And we get 10, which would be 2. So she sent 752 texts. For April, same, 35 plus 0.05 per text, and her total cost is $65.85. First, we have to subtract the 35 from both sides. So you get the 0.05t equals, this is going to be 30.85. So now I got to divide by the 0.05. So let's come down here, 30.85 divided by 0.05. I move the decimal over twice in both of them. 5 goes into 36 times. Bring down the 8. 5 goes into 8 once. And 5 goes into 35 7 times. So here it's 617 texts. And two last problems, or 3 problems to go. Having so much fun here. Claudia's reading a book that has 360 pages. Her book has 360 pages. She read some of the book last week. We don't know how much that is. We're going to call that X. She plans to read 46 more today. When she does, she'll be 4/5 of the way through the book. So how many pages did she read last week? So she read last week, she read X, and then she read 46 more today. That's what she plans on doing. And once she does that, she'll be 4/5 of the way through the book. So she'll be 4/5 of the way through the 360 pages. 4/5 of the way through the 360 pages. Okay. So what is 4/5 of 360? Well, let's multiply this out. 4/5 times 360 over 1. That is going to be, let me multiply this, 0, 1440 over 5, and 5 goes into 1440, 188. That doesn't sound right. I'm sorry, 288. 4 goes into that twice. 288. So X plus 46 equals, you guys can always get a calculator to do this. I'm kind of doing it quick here. You can always pause and do a calculator. So X plus 46 equals 288. I got this 288 by multiplying 4/5 times 360. Okay. Now to continue this, I need to get rid of the adding 46. I'm going to subtract 46 on both sides. And X is going to be 242 pages. So she read 242 pages last week. Okay, last 2 problems are kind of reviewing way back in Module 3 with our dilations and congruents. So they're telling us that these 2 triangles are congruent. That means that angle A and angle A prime are going to be congruent. They're going to be the same measurement. So we got to figure out what angle A and A prime measure. And they just give us these expressions. But I know that this expression has to equal this expression because these angles are the same size. So we can go that 7x minus 4 equals x plus 32 because these are equal. Let's solve for x. First, we have to subtract 1x from both sides because that has the smallest coefficient. So you get 6x minus 4 equals 32. Now we have to add 4 to both sides. And we get 6x equals 36. Now we have to divide by 6. And x is going to be 6. 36 divided by 6 is 6. Okay, but it says determine the measurement of angle A, right? A is not 6. A is x plus 32, and x is 6. So angle A equals x plus 32. We know that x is 6, so it's going to be 6 plus 32. So it's angle A is going to be 38. We can check that with A prime. A prime is 7x plus 4, right? I'm sorry, 7x minus 4. That's a minus sign. 7x minus 4. So we got to put x in for 6. So 7 times 6 minus 4. So that's going to be 42 minus 4. So A prime is also 38. And we knew that because they told us that these were congruent. Let's go down to number 9. It is the same type of problem. ABC, triangle ABC is congruent with triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Therefore, angle A will be the same measurement as angle A prime. And they want us to find out the measurement of angle A. They want us to find out the measurement of angle A. So we know that angle A, 4x plus 57, it's going to be the same measurement as A prime, 10x minus 9. So first thing we do, variables on one side. The one with the smallest coefficient is 4, so we're going to subtract the 4x from both sides. And we get 57 equals 6x minus 9. Now we have to get rid of our subtraction by adding 9 on both sides. We get 6x equals 66. Now we have to divide by 6 on both sides. And x is going to be 11. Does that mean that angle A is 11? No. Angle A, angle A, not A prime. Angle A is 4x minus 57. X is 11. So 4 plus 57, 4 times 11 plus 57. So that's 44 plus 57. So angle A is going to be 101 degrees. And we can check that with A prime. A prime is 10x minus 9. So that'd be 10 times 11, because x is 11, minus the 9. That's 110 minus 9. So measurement of angle A prime is also 101 degrees. So we know we did it correct. A and A prime are both 101. This was a long lesson. I'm glad you persevered through it. Have a great day.